Hello everyone, Keydude here, and welcome back to another video. Boyi has been kind to send out the WK68 keyboard out to me, and even though this video is sponsored, all my thoughts and opinions are my own. They sent me the matcha green version with the Gateron yellow switches, but there are more keycap and switch options. You can choose between the browns, reds, or yellows. And you have a lot of keycap options too, such as the Honeymilk keycaps and more. The keyboard is highly rated on Amazon, and even flagged as Amazon's choice in gaming keyboards, so it certainly caught my attention. So let's move on to the unboxing. Inside the box, we obviously get the 65% keyboard that looks really nice. You also get a user manual, a white braided cable, and 4 extra TTC red switches. You also get 7 extra keycaps, a 2.4 GHz dongle, a keycap puller, and a switch puller, which is nice because this keyboard is hot swappable. Now, one thing I like about the keyboard's aesthetic is the thick edges on the case, and I also like that it has an overhang, so it has that floaty vibe. The typing angle is good, and I have had no problem typing on this keyboard, and if necessary, there are 2-stage flip-up feet included. Now, what I don't like about the design is the logo on the front right. It's too big and looks a bit tacky. And perhaps the biggest drawback, if you use it in wire mode, is the side profile. The USB port and different connection buttons are on the left of the keyboard, and I wish they put it on the back side where it is nice and hidden. But I have most of the time only used this keyboard in 2.4 GHz mode, so I do not think it is that big of a problem if you use it in wireless mode. And on topic of wireless modes, the connection works really good, and I've had no issues with latency and such. And you can also use N-key rollover in every mode. Now let's talk about the keycaps and switches. The keycaps that come with this keyboard is a thick dye-sub PBT that contributes to a fuller sound profile. The keycaps is an XDA profile keycap, and the profile may be flat to some people, but for me it felt very natural after a few hours of use. I also generally like the font, colorway, and the look of the novelty keys, and that left shift keycap may be my favorite one. Now over to the switches. I have the Gateron yellows with the white bottom housing and a clear top housing. They are not factory lubed, but they do sound good. Take a listen. Now that does not sound too bad for a completely dry switch, but it does unfortunately have a slight scratch and a pinginess. But this can all be resolved by lubing them with some 205G0, and this will also improve the sound immensely. I think the Gateron yellow is the switch you should choose when buying this keyboard, and it's decent enough for most people. And what I like about this keyboard is that it is hot swappable for 3 or 5 pin switches, so you can put any switch you like inside the keyboard. Now, what really surprised me is that it has plate foam, so it explains why it sounds so decent right out of the box. But I have not opened the keyboard up to see the internals, so I do not know if there is any case foam too, but I do know that the stabilizers are plate mounted and they have a lot of lubrication from the factory, so they were completely fine. Another thing is that the PCB has north-facing RGB, so the RGB is nice and bright. But may be a problem if you want to change to cherry profile keycaps, but let's move on to the stock sound test. Overall, I really like the looks of this keyboard, especially the keycaps. It also works really good for casual typing and gaming sessions as well. So, if you are interested in buying a pre-built minimalistic looking 3-mode 65% keyboard with RGB, and you want the option to potentially switch out the switches in the future, the Boyee WK68 may be the keyboard for you. For the price of $77 I think it is worth it, especially if you just want a good and nice looking keyboard straight out of the box. Now that was it for my review of the Boyee WK68. Thank you to Boyee for sponsoring me with this keyboard, and if you like this video, please drop a like, and if you like my content, please subscribe, and until next time, peace.